realize how much everyone would buy in the Chris Paul trade. Now, if I see another video from another person tagging me in a Jordan Poole play with the Washington Wizards, I understand we've got our eye on him to some degree. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
It's like the Santa Maria, the Nina, and the Pinta. I'm over it, okay? But in terms of what the Warriors look like with Chris Paul, Bonte, I think I underrated the buy-in factor from Steph Curry. Because when I saw them Friday night, I've been waiting to talk Warriors with you. Friday night, that game against the Sacramento Kings, I was watching the talking between Chris Paul and Steph Curry. And then watching it again yesterday on the road in between timeouts. I was watching Chris Paul tutoring a young Kuminga Friday night, talking to Moses Moody, conversing with Klay Thompson. There was a little pocket pass that he made to Klay Thompson, and Klay Thompson looked at him like he had found his lover because the ball was right where he needed to be so he can go up, rise, and hit. Chris Paul, it's only a couple games, and it's a long season. You got to keep him healthy. What an incredible trade. And the buy-in from everyone on the roster. This looks like a team night and day in terms of connectivity from last year.
The bench is night and day, right? Last year it took the Warriors. It wasn't until December 18th when they won their third road game of the season. December 18th. Remember, they started 0-8 on the road. So that was a factor for me coming into the season. We're going to find out right away how bought in this team is. 7 of the first 9 games on the road. So you lose a home opener against Phoenix and everybody's freaking out. Phoenix is going to be there in the end. They're a Western Conference contender.
Agreed.
It's a good team. Very good team. Go up to Sacramento Friday night, home opener. Sacramento's coming off a blowout win against Utah. And right away we get to see, okay, how will the Warriors respond on the road? They're up 84-75 midway through the third quarter. Steph Curry checks out, and he's having a monster game. Monster game. It's Chris Paul. It's Jonathan Kuminga. It's Moses Moody. There's a little bit of Clay. There's some Saric. And they go on a run and extend the lead to 18. And Chris Paul is just quarterbacking everything. Kuminga slashing, Moody slashing. Chris Paul's letting him get back on defense, get back on defense. So far in the season, as they go to Sacramento and win, they go to Houston and win, they go to New Orleans last night and win on the back-to-back, and everybody plays on the back end of the back-to-back. Chris Paul so far this season, 33 assists, 6 turnovers.
And what's their road record?
3-0.
I mean,
again, they didn't win their third road game last year until December 18th.
That's insane.
We're not even out of October, and the Warriors have matched that. They're 3-0 so far on the road.
Well, the vibes are there. And
the vibes are there.
Jackson Davis, I keep messing up his name, so I apologize.
Trace Jackson Davis.
Yeah, it's gonna take time for me
TJD.
to have it TJD. Roll off the tongue. He fits. Now I don't know what his long-term impact on the team's going to be, or even this season. Like, it's a long year. To think that Podziemski's going to replicate what he did last night, that feels a little far-fetched. He's going to have ups and downs and whatever. But the big man, I saw hands. I saw him actively going and finding guys to go screen for away from the ball. I saw a guy that was active on the offensive glass defensively. He seems to be aware of when to help and when to rotate. And he seems like a very thick body who can box out. Like, I think he's going to be a contributor this year. I don't know to what degree, but I really like him as a pick.
He fits. He has some experience from Indiana. And listen, man, he played 19 minutes and 50 seconds yesterday. They took away a rebound late after the game. He had a double-double. We thought he had a double-double. They took away a rebound. So he had 13 and 9, 4 block shots. I want to go back to Chris Paul for a second. First of all, it's all starts and ends with Steph Curry. Let's not lead. He dropped 42 yesterday.
Steph Curry.
He dropped 7 threes.
I feel like
he scored 16 of the first 18 points yesterday to set the tone. The guy, Stephen Curry, has had 3 straight games in which he's had 20 points and a half.
Fonte.
Think about that.
As today's Halloween, later on, I'm going to be dressed up as a Jedi. The family is all going to be
switch
Star
outfits?
Wars. Well, yeah, I'm going to go home and take a shower.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm going to be a Jedi.
We got a Pasoy problem in the clubhouse.
I'll tell you this right now. I feel like Steph Curry's at the height of his powers. I feel like I'm walking Luke Skywalker in, Return of the Jedi at the height of his powers. He's magical.
He is. I mean, look, he's mastered the game of basketball. Literally mastered the game of basketball.
You're right.
I mean, he's hitting threes. He's finishing. He's cooking Dylan Brooks. Hey, that felt good on Sunday against the Houston Rockets. He had 3 straight games in which he's had a 20-point half. All right, 42 points. And look, he's playing at the height of his powers, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. So it all starts and ends with Stephen Curry. I don't want to bury the lead. Steph is magical. Steph is leading this team, and you can tell the leadership. What I loved in the third quarter on Friday night against Sacramento, Moses Moody hits a big three.
Yeah.
And see Steph Curry damn near walk the half court saying, let's go, Moses. He's hyped up off this bench. And that's where the difference is. Look, last year, we put a lot on the youngsters for coming in with the second unit and blowing leads, and I get it. I thought the veterans should have closed those games in, but I get the bench. The bench was not connected. Why? And it's not to go back on Jordan Poole, but they needed leadership with the second unit.
Oh,
they needed leadership.
Of 1,000%.
Not to say Jordan Poole's not a leader. He may grow into that, but they needed a mature adult with that second unit. And remember, the second unit rectified itself last year when Draymond Green joined that unit.
Yeah, that's a good
with
point.
Jordan Poole. But now you get CP3. And you get a point guard. Like, I get a lot of Sean Livingston's vibes just in terms of the stability. But just knowing where guys needs to be.
Well,
running the pick and roll. And now the Warriors can play multiple styles.
To me, that's the most important. First game, it was like, all right, we're feeling out the tempo, the pace, the cadence, whatever you want to call it, of how we're going to run our offense. Doesn't it feel like he's in full control?
Full control.
Full control. And
Total
what I love
control.
about it, and I'm watching that second unit, particularly in the second quarter yesterday, the ball was hopping around.
Oh, it is.
And it wasn't just CP3 dribbling, pointing at this guy, whatever. Like, he goes down into a spot, which drags the defense over. He kicks it out to Moses Moody. Moses Moody's throwing it back to him. He throws it into Jackson Davis. Jackson Davis kicks it back out. And I'm just saying, listen to how many quick passes and quick decisions. Guys are knowing, if I throw it to you, I'm going to get it back. And there's a selflessness about CP3 that permeates the rest of that second unit. And I feel like he understands when and where to put the ball in his hand and, like, slow it down, when to pick it up. I mean, there was a couple baseline plays. He's done this now, I think, in every game. Where he just starts cooking. And he's like, you know what? I'm hitting this little mid-range little floater.
No doubt.
Or this little pullback. And it's just like, I need a two right now in the mid-range. We need a bucket to stabilize things. I underrated his fit with this team. He fits with almost any team. He's so good.
It took a while. It took a while to really buy into the Chris Paul thing. Now, the shock of him being traded here, I think everybody was shocked about it. And everybody had something for Jordan Poole. We love Jordan Poole, but he's gone now. And you see why they made the deal and why Kerr said what he said and why Steph Curry kept saying, having an adult in the room, having a grown-up. And so now that you got a grown-up and Chris Paul helping the second unit, look at what it's done to Moses Moody. 5 of 8 yesterday, 13 points. Moses Moody is off to a flying start this season.
Yeah, he is.
We know about Jonathan Kuminga, who missed last night. Look, Klay and JK missed last night, and the Warriors still dropped 130 points, right? They still dropped 130 points. So what CP3 is doing, and everybody was so fixated on him starting, stop it. The guy played 25 minutes yesterday. He's going to play 25 to 28 minutes a game. On this team, those are starter minutes.
Yes.
Because remember, Steph Curry's never above 33 to 34 minutes. Draymond Green's only playing 21 minutes right now. Wiggins is playing 20 minutes. They're managing the minutes. So you don't need him starting. Chris Paul, though, you see all these different lineup combinations.
It all works.
You got three guard lineup with Steph Curry, Chris Paul, and Gary Payton II. I saw it one time yesterday. Podziemski, Steph Curry, Chris Paul. I see Chris Paul with Klay, JK, Moody. So the versatility on this roster, it's alarming. And now you got Ludius Sarge, you got TJD. I mean, these are good problems to have. You don't need him to start. Again, we're so fixated on him starting. He bought into the bench role. He's coming in, stabilizing the second unit. And then the close quarters, you got Chris Paul out there as a ball handler.
Quietly, Moses Moody has looked so good.
He
looks so good. First off, the three-point shot is so quick. He got a quick little trigger. He can get it off really fast. Him and Sarge kind of got a nice little two-man game going in terms of, like, trusting each other late in the shot clock.
Shooting 41% from three so far this season.
Is that what it is?
41%.
Hey, I really like where Moody's at. He's a guy that's kind of flying under the radar heading into the year. And I kept asking, like, what's his role? They clearly trust him, and they clearly know what his role is. He's going to be one of the guards coming off the bench who at times is going to play starter minutes depending on who's out there, and he's going to play elite defense, and he's going to do a lot of the grimy things that this team needs. I think Jonathan Kuminga, though he didn't play last night, the first couple of games, he's rebounded really well. He's gotten to the lane. He's still going to have the careless, I crash into somebody.
He's learning.
But
he's learning.
That's part of, but it's part of him being an athlete, and I want him to be an athlete on a team where they don't have a lot of athleticism attacking the rim. I'm okay with him crashing into someone every now and then. I think people overrate, oh my God, that's a turnover. Yeah, and then he goes to the free throw line 3 or 4 other possessions instead of that one time where he gets the offensive foul or the travel.
Well, he gets better as the game goes along.
I agree.
He gets better as the game goes along. He does it all the time. And one thing that Moody and JK know is they're going to play this season. They're going to play plenty of minutes. And I think that helps their psyche knowing, okay, I got Chris Paul, set me up in the right way. The problem with Jordan Poole was, and I like Jordan Poole, and look, we know what happened last year. We don't need to revisit what happened last year in terms of what happened in training camp. But during the season, they needed a point guard who could settle them down and get them in the right sets. And Jordan Poole at times, look, man, he wants to put you in the blender. He wants to get his own shot. He wants to get his own buckets here. And see what's going on in Washington with them. They're already frustrated with the young man. He's got to mature. He's got to get better. But they needed a point guard like a Chris Paul. Like Sean Livingston, I always thought, Sean Livingston, boy, if he was with that unit last year, he could have stabilized them and got them in the right spot. But you even upgraded. Now you got Chris Paul, who's in his 19th season, who we know is a top 5 point guard of all time. And he is perfect with J.K. and Moody, and he knows how to uplift youngsters while having a Sarge, knowing who plays with them well from their days in Phoenix, Arizona. So I love where J.K. and Moody's at. Klay Thompson, may I say Klay Thompson? 14-24 in his last 2 games.
Can I?
The patience and the discernment and the level that he's bought in at. And look, I know Klay's heard all the talk about somehow, some way, a guy who led the league at threes, a guy who shot 41% from 3. So all of a sudden had a bad year. Apparently that's a bad year for an NBA player. Whatever. Klay Thompson has bought in. Anybody got any concerns about Klay right now?
No. The rumor is that you're going to start referring to him, using me as a drop, as too short.
Why is that?
Because he's getting in where he fits in.
I like that.
No, but like that, I think that's the most important thing is like, we know he's a dynamic shooter. And when he's rhythmic and taking good shots that are within the fabric of the offense when needed, like, he can be dynamic. And I think when he's trying to find his shot, that's when things get a little more difficult for him. CP3 has been a heaven sent for him.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they're not overlapping every minute that the two of them are together. But, like, think about the luxury that the Warriors have right now. I mean, for the most part, it feels like Steph or CP3 is on the floor at all times. Think of the IQ. Just the IQ alone.
A lot of IQ.
It really is. And then I think about Steph Curry. You know, we've talked about him, and I'll get to Chris Paul in a second, B, but, like, the acts, there was the first act of, hey, my ankles are hurt, I'm a rookie, I'm trying to prove myself, you know, blah, blah, blah. Second act, all right, emergence, right? In terms of his career arc, right? Emergence, I'm going to be an elite player. Then there's the championship version of Curry, the Durant version of Curry, where he kind of, hey, I'm a great teammate. We'll both get ours. I might take a back seat, but it doesn't matter. Then there's the post-Durant stuff, and I think he's elevated himself post-Durant. If they can play nice all year, I don't even think they need to win a championship.
They will play nice. There's no concern for me.
No, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. What I'm saying is that I think the fact that he's such a great teammate, the fact that he can acquiesce to Chris Paul, let's call it, Chris Paul is a very powerful voice. He likes to play a particular way, and he's going to let you know about it. These two playing well with each other, and if they can get to a final, not forget win it, just get to another final. I mean, that's like the candle on top of the cake for these guys' careers.
No doubt. We got a long journey. They're 3-1 right now, and I like the journey. I like the steps that they're taking. Andrew Wiggins, I know a lot of people are concerned about him. I believe Andrew Wiggins will figure it out.
What are we
He's still playing defense. The shot will come around. Let him find his rhythm.
He rebounded a little better.
3 rebounds. I need a little more.
What are you looking for from him? I thought Klay's rebounded very well.
A little more rebounding from Andrew Wiggins. And just being aggressive. I want to see Steve Kerr maybe draw some things up for him early on to get him going, maybe get aggressive.
Friday night he did that.
But, you know, sometimes I think the lineup that he's in with Looney and Draymond, it kind of compromises his space.
It congests
to where he can work. He likes to go to the jump hook. He likes to go to the mid block, to hit the elbow jumper. You know, it's not there right now. But listen, like GPT said, GP2 said on media day, hey, Bonte, we're 10-11 deep, dog.
GP2 looks great.
And how about that? He's not lying.
He looks great.
They do look 10-11 deep.
He had a layup on Zion yesterday.
That was good basketball.
Oh, my God. By the way, can we talk about Zion on the other side? Because
we could do that.
There has been a lot of Victor Wembanyama hype, and rightfully so. I mean, he's a freak. I mean, I'm watching him. It's like every channel is cutting into him. And I totally forgot about Zion. And I know health is going to be a big.
Zion's a problem.
He's intriguing.
He is intriguing.